Hey everybody, Mr. D back with you today. Um, just want to let everybody know today being Friday, really good, really cool day coming up. This day on Saturday at 8:30 p.m. So when the little hand is on the 8, the big hand goes to the 6 at 8:30. It's going to be known as Earth Hour. What's Earth Hour? Earth Hour is a night time to turn off all your electronics and just kind of have fun with your family. Play a board game. Talk about some things. Just kind of relax, just enjoy each other's company without any of the technology on that I know we've been using a lot lately, especially like learning online. So Earth Hour, 8:30 Saturday, just making a little plug for it. So check it out. Today though, we're back with a little reading. Okay, and today is we're gonna read a story called The Big Red Barn. Now, we've been concentrating on, understanding what's going on in the stories a lot. And today we're going to focus in on the setting. Well, what's the setting? The setting of the story is basically where and when it takes place. Now, this story obviously is, pretty easy that we can figure out it takes place in the Big Red Barn. Okay. So, settings of the story are really important of when it takes place. So, for instance, like, Charlotte's Web is a very popular story that a lot of people know, and that takes place in a barn as well. But it also the setting changes throughout the story. They go to the fair too, so the setting of the story is not always the same. Now in this book, it's going to be the same all throughout. And I'm going to show you an activity that you can do at home to help show why setting is important in the story, just so we understand the stories a little bit more. And it helps us tell the details because the details are where it's at. And that's something that we've concentrated on all year, and we've been doing a great job. But the more we can be specific with our details, like explaining the setting, where and when a story takes place, even better. So again, this story is called The Big Red Barn. By the big red barn in the great green field, there was a pink pig who was learning to squeal. There was a great big horse and a very little horse. And on every barn is a weather vane, of course, a golden flying horse. There was a big pile of hay and a little pile of hay, and that is where the children play. But in this story, the children are away. Only the animals are here today. The sheep and the donkey, the geese and the goats were making funny noises down in their throats. An old scarecrow was leaning on his hoe, and a field mouse was born in a field of corn. Cock-a-doodle-doo! In the barn there was a rooster and a pigeon too, and a big white hen standing on one leg, and under the hen was a quiet little egg. There was a bantam rooster and a little bantam hen with a big clutch of eggs. Count them, there are 10. Cock-a-doodle-doo, moo, moo. There was a big brown cow and a little brown cow. There was an old black cat, meow, meow, and a tiger tomcat, yow, yow. There was a big red dog, bow wow, with some little puppy dogs, all round and warm. And they all lived together in the big red barn. And they played all day in the grass and in the hay. When the sun went down in the great green field, the big cow lowed, the little pig squealed. The horses stomped in the sweet warm hay, and the little donkey gave one last bray. The hens were sleeping on their nests, even the roosters took a rest. The little black bats flew away out of the barn at the end of the day. And there they were all night long, sound asleep. In the big red barn. Only the mice were left to play, rustling and squeaking in the hay, while the moon sailed high in the dark night sky. That's a really great story that has a lot of really good rhyming in it. and it also takes place in the same spot the whole time. Now, obviously, as you were listening to that story, you heard a lot of things that the different animals did. And why were they able to do it there? Because they were in a big red barn. Like, did you hear anything about a tiger? Nope. Did you hear anything about a zebra? Nope. Because they weren't there. In the big red barn, you're going to find out things that actually happened in a big red barn. So, what you can do to help show why the setting of a story is important is you can actually make what's known as a postcard. Okay, a postcard where the setting is. Now, there's my version of the Big Red Barn. Okay. Again, I always feel it's like really important to add the title to the story to whatever activity you're doing. So it says Big Red Barn just to make sure. Big Red Barn. Now, a postcard usually you send when you go away to different places to sometimes different people. You know, we got one from Mrs. K this year from Florida. Okay, so the Big Red Barn is like the setting of the story, but we can also give it to somebody who might not know it, and that'll tell us important. Now, you obviously on a postcard you're gonna have a drawing of what the setting was, where it took place, and you could also have when it took place. Like I could have had the sun, I could have had some animals in there. It also talked about what happened at night there too, so you can put that in there. So what I did was I drew the barn, and then I wrote to Connie, what happened at the Big Red Barn. So here's what I wrote. I had a great time at the Big Red Barn. There were lots of animals. It was busy in the day and quiet at night. Okay, so you can tell, like, you can also do some good writing on the back of a postcard as well. So you're doing a great job listening to the book, figuring out what the setting is, and then you're able to write down. You're not saying, "Oh, the setting of the story was blank, 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 blank." No, you want to make it fun, make it interesting, and write to somebody of what kind of happened in the story. So, was there a lot of animals in the story? Definitely. Was it really busy in the day? Definitely. All those things that the animals are doing. And was it super quiet at night? Yup, except for the mice squeaking and squawking in the hay. So this is a good activity you can do at home. All you need is a marker, a book, and an index card. And you can help show the setting of the story to, again, get more details. So boys and girls, thanks a lot for listening. I really appreciate you tuning in and checking things out, trying to, do a great job learning at home. Talk to you again.